Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday, and welcome to another episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, the Bankroll Your Brains expert, and I'm here with you every Thursday to do one of three things every week. One, to stand or make sure you understand the ingredients to stand in the full power of your purpose, which I call your brilliance. Because when you're standing in your purpose and you're on fire, your light should be on. As Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine among men and women that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So I want you to turn your brilliance all the way up, right? The second is a value tied to it. And the third is how to create multiple streams of income from it. I think our conversation today is probably one of the most important conversations I've had with you this year. And really, as we start to catapult into next year, what I'm going to share with you are the 4 keys to extraordinary business growth, right? The 4 keys to extraordinary business growth. Now, before I go in, those of you that are with me every week, you know how I do. I'm trying to pull up your name so I can see who you are. I look in 2 places because sometimes I can't see it on the screen. Hey, my Renata. Who else is here with us? As my grandmother always says, or used to say, because she's no longer with us, don't come in this house and not speak. And so you coming in the room and you not speaking, well, I'm going to pour into you for the next 20 minutes or so. All I ask you to do is speak. Say hello, tell me where you're from. If any of what I say resonates with you, I want you to tell me, right? If I step on your toe, say ouch. If it's good, give me some fire emojis in the chat. And if you have questions, thoughts, perspective, share as we go. Hey, Michelle, tell everybody where you're joining from. All right. So again, 4 keys to extraordinary business growth. Phoenix in the house. I love it. So by the way, I'm in the DMV area. Those of you that didn't know that. So here's what I want to share with you. Number 1, I'm going to share something with you that God placed in my spirit. All right, pink and green. You know, I know all about that. I'm going to share something with you that God placed in my spirit, but I'm not going to be able to go in all of the details with you. So to get all of the perspective, I'm going to invite you to listen to my podcast for this month, which is called Our Year for Expansion. And how you listen to it is you go to amplifyyourbrilliance.com. That's my podcast, amplifyyourbrilliance.com. Hey, Rose in Chesterfield, Virginia, and Letha, am I saying that right? In Montclair, New Jersey. Welcome, welcome. So with that, let me get this party started. So back in November, now let me tell you, every year, those of you that may have followed me for a while, every year I sit in quiet contemplation and I ask God, what's the goal, the focus, the mission for the following year? And usually I do that I do it around Christmas. And usually God gives it to me between Christmas and New Year. Well, listen, this year, God gave it to me. I hadn't even asked yet. It was before Thanksgiving. And the mission for 2022 is expansion. So again, my podcast, I go into much more detail. I'm going to do highlights here, but grab your pen because I'm going to give you all you need to really grow. Because listen, I'm not here for who you already are. If you're going to expand, it's about going into a level above which you already are. Need you to get that, okay? And I have notes because listen, my commitment is to be here in 30 minutes. And I could talk about this for the next 4 hours, okay? So the pearl Jabez is what I think about anytime I think about expansion. If you've never heard of Jabez's story, first of all, it's interesting to me that Jabez is only in 2 verses in the entire Bible, and yet he has a prayer we study. Interesting, right? And if you look at the verses before the Bible starts to talk about Jabez, it's like a list of names. It's kind of like a census. Like, Nicole was married to Daryl, and Daryl's mother was Adrian and Morris. And I mean, it goes on and on about this whole kind of family ancestry. And then it gets to Jabez, and then it stops listing people and it starts talking about Jabez for 2 verses. I'm not going to talk about the first verse. I'm going to talk about the second verse. Again, listen to the podcast if you want a whole perspective, right? So 1 Chronicles 4:10 says, and Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand will be with me, that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. So God granted what he requested. So there's four key ingredients that I want you to get out of Jabez's prayer that are critical to your own expansion, critical to you going after your next level, critical to you going after your abundantly above all. Because the only way you're going to do that, if you've never heard me talk about this, see, your purpose goes through what I call a matriculation system. Just like there's an education matriculation system, there's a purpose matriculation system. So think about what education matriculation is, y'all. We start in kindergarten, and some of us started preschool. Then we move on to first or elementary school. We go through all of our elementary school. Some go to junior high, right? My school was K through eighth, so I didn't go to junior high. Anyway, we go to junior high. Then we go on to high school. Some of us go on to college and grad school and trade school and et cetera, et cetera. But there is a matriculation that's in place. But we know when you start kindergarten that you know what's next is first grade, and you know then second, and need I go on. The difference is God doesn't tell you your matriculation and your purpose. This is where you've got to be able to do three things. You ready? And this is what your expansion is key to you being able to go after your next level for 2022. Okay. So the first, and I'm going to really use Jabez's prayer as kind of a guide. So as Jabez said, oh, that you would bless me. My question to you is, when was the last time you asked God for something so huge that it would bring greater meaning to this world? See, sometimes we ask these nice little neat prayers, these easy prayers. And there's something so much more bubbling in you, but you don't dare ask for it. So when Jabez says, God, will you bless me? He's not even asking for himself. He's asking, God, bless me so I can bless more people. When was the last time you stood in the gap for somebody that needed you? Have you yet not realized that the gifts and talents in you were placed in you by God to be the answer to a group of people that need you? When I say that, it makes me think of David and Goliath. Now, we grow up hearing the David and Goliath story, right? But there's some critical pieces of David's story that are important here. Again, oh, that you would bless me. So, Goliath. Now, when I think of Goliath, I think of the Rock times 10 with his fine self. I always have to have a moment of silence for that with his fine self, right? So, think about the Rock times 10, y'all. And then David, little bitty David was kind of like probably Arnold on Different Strokes from back in the day. Those of you that remember Different Strokes, don't make me feel old. Or the little boy on Webster, his name was Webster. Y'all remember that? Don't make me feel old. Just say yes, even if you don't. Y'all with me? Y'all are quiet today. So the giant was going all around the town, terrorizing the town. The army wouldn't fight him. The Marines wouldn't fight him. The Navy wouldn't fight him. Nobody. They were like, we're not, because they saw how powerful the giant was, right? I appreciate you, Rose. They saw how powerful the giant was, and they were like, no, we're not going to fight him. But listen, David said, I'll fight him. Oh, that you will bless me indeed. See, David realized that he could stand in the gap for his people, and his commitment to his people was larger than his fear, because you know he had to be scared. And many times we allow fear to keep us from being the blessing that we could be in this world. Because the next thing that Jabez, God, that name is a tongue tie. Jabez prays is that you enlarge my territory, right? Again, when you go after your conviction, when you say, God, give me more. But the question is, can God trust you with more? God, give me more. I can handle more, God. I want to do more for you. And listen, when I'm saying that, doesn't mean you got to do it in church. I need y'all to get this. See, God put us here to have kingdom on earth. When you fully function in your gifts and talents and you do the thing you were born to do in the arena you were purposed to do it in, and you bless all those that receive your gift, you're being God's example on this earth. No matter what you do, if you're a 9 to 5er, I need you to understand your job was created as an answer. Nike created as an answer. American Express created as an answer. Apple, hallelujah, created as an answer. Love my iPhone. So even if you're a programmer for a technology, you are helping people get. Oops, I made my flashlight go on. You are helping people get that technology out in the world. Do y'all get that? So as an entrepreneur, whether you're a coach, a speaker, an author, whether you're a sales expert, whether you sell real estate, whether you are an image consultant, whether you are some kind of financial service expert. Do I need to go on? Counting, lawyer, You have this sales expertise. I can go on and on and on. Whatever I call it your intellectual property, whatever that brilliance is in your head. And the reason I say I call it intellectual property is because when people are trademarking a product, they call the design of the product intellectual property. But here's how I do a twist on that. You have intellectual property. There's something inside of you that is so brilliant, so unique, so special that it probably needs to be trademarked. Come on, somebody. Needs to be copywritten. Well, it was copywritten by God. Come on and drop it in, Lord, right? So I need y'all to get this. When you say yes to it and you go after the next level of it. So Renata is here, who's one of my clients. I'm gonna use Renata as an example because I've been blessed to coach her. So Renata is a real estate agent, a phenomenal one at that. She could have been cool with just doing real estate. But the principles that she's learned in real estate, Renata, if you still here, type in your fan. Now, this is something I teach my clients. I'm changing it to BRS, by the way, Renata. Your brilliance result statement. Type it in your BRS, your brilliance result statement. Because what she does is so masterful. I'm trying to see if she's still here. She can type it in because she was with us at the beginning. And I want her to say it. What she's done with her gift is she's expanded her territory. If she doesn't come in, I'm going to say it. I probably would mess it up, but it'd be better if she says it. And the reason I'm using her for an example is because many of you are sitting on something so brilliant that can bless so many people. But the question is, are you willing to go beyond what you could see to go after the next level of who you could be? Whew. Are you willing to go beyond what you can see to go after the you that you could be? Here's Renata's statement. I help individuals take the money they've earned to create more revenue. See, what Renata has done, y'all, is she's expanded the capacity of her brilliance. She's taken the gift she's learned as a real estate agent, and now she's teaching individuals how to make money and create revenue. So good. And don't we all need to know how to make more revenue? Don't we all need to know how to go after another level with our revenue, have our cash make cash? And so my question to you is when you pray, oh God, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory, how would that bless other people? I want you to really think about that. When you want to go out past what you know. Listen, when God called me out of what I know, I worked in the entertainment industry, loved it, loved every minute of it. It was a job I've dreamed of since I was 7 years old. This is in the 90s. Those of you that haven't heard my story, I'll tell you my story really quickly, then I'll give you step 3. This is back in the 90s. I worked then for Viacom's largest cable network. We had an outreach to over 89 million homes on a weekly basis. I worked there in production. I was the talent coordinator. I was a research assistant. So it was all production. Then I went on from there and I worked in casting for the #1 TV show on Fox. Love that too. Let me tell you something. I could still see movies and read scripts and see the role that the person that's right to play the role. Oh, I can tell you a whole conversation around that. I was really good at it. Third thing I did was I got hired by a production company, and what we produced generated over $12.6 billion a year. So I'm telling you that because I was playing big. I loved every minute of it. But in the dark of the night when I was by myself, I felt like something was missing. Couldn't understand why I could feel like that because I loved my job. So how could I ever feel like something was missing? See, what I didn't realize is my purpose was calling. My matriculation was happening, right? It was time to grow, expand. God had more for me to do. Why am I sharing that story with you? Because many of you are here because God is calling you into your more. It's time for you to go after your next level. It's time for you to go after the matriculation that only God can walk you through. Because it's going to require a new level of yourself. It's going to require you to do it afraid. It's going to require you to trust only in Him and the gifts He placed in you. He also gave us free will, so He's not going to make you do it. You get to choose. So knees knocking, teeth chattering. How did I choose it? I remember one night my good girlfriend invited me to volunteer at a youth program at my church. And listen, she invited me in the middle of me being dazed and confused and not knowing why I felt like this and not knowing what to do with it. But when I got into that church that night, now again, this is the 90s, and I started working with young women that night. As their eyes lit up, my heart lit up. And I said, oh my God, this is the thing. I didn't know what to call this thing. It's called coaching now, but this is in the 90s. I had never heard of coaching. But for the first time in my life, my soul was alive. So, me, just like David, I had a decision to make. Do I do the thing that's comfortable, that everybody knows me for, that perception tells me I should stay, that my position says I should stay, that my name on list says I should stay, all the parties I was going to says I should stay? Or do I stand in the gap for all the people I know God has called me to serve? See, there's a David, excuse me, not a David, there's a Goliath only you can take down. And so that Goliath for me was starting with teenage girls and helping them get clear on their purpose and create their purpose driven, purpose focused futures, which most of them were college, some trade school. When I look at my girls now who are in their 40s, I don't know how that's in their 40s when I'm still in my 20s, but anyway, when I look at where they are now, some have master's degrees, some have PhDs, some own businesses, most of them are moms. When I look at who they are now, because I stepped up and stepped out and said yes to my next level, but God wasn't done with me yet. My next level after that was to start working with women. And for the last 28 years, I've done that. I've helped highly skilled women create purpose focused business, first to get clear on their purpose, and then how to create multiple streams of revenue from it. Well, in the last 3 or 4 months, y'all, God's been nudging me again. Hello. See, I get to do platforms like Black Doctor and other places where men are present. And God said, hello, I need you to include men in your work. And so, can I tell you that's uncomfortable for me? Now, I've always had a few good men, but I've never fully served men. But guess what, fellas? I'm here for you because God, listen, if He would have told me this 28 years ago, I wasn't ready, but now I am. Why am I sharing that with you? Because you've got to trust God every step. You've got to trust God even when it doesn't feel like it. Listen, when I left entertainment to do this, do you know that I still do casting and production? What I really do with my clients is I produce you. When I'm helping you create multiple streams of revenue, I can see your gift and I'm really producing it. I'm like your executive producer, right? Right, Renata? And so, in the same vein, I want you to know there's a Bible verse that says all things work together for the good. So everything I've went through in the past has made me who I am now, and then needs to expand and grow. See, when you put extra with ordinary, think about somebody like Serena Williams. Now, have you guys seen King Richard, the movie about her dad? Venus or Serena, for that matter, right? When you look at how they played tennis and how they practiced and how they had to get new coaches and each new level required a new coach. See, what they were doing was putting extra with the ordinary to go after their next level. Think about Simone Biles or any gymnast, any athlete, Michael Jordan, I go on and on that you greatly admire. The reason they do well is because they practice. They stay in the gym working on their craft. Do I need to go on and on? Are you getting it? Right? Renata said, yes, and with love, she would step on your toes. With love, though, and I'm not stepping on your toes. I'm pushing you, right? To expand. Think about what a rubber band does. It pulls all the way back. Now, sometimes if you let go, it might hurt a little bit, but you're not supposed to let it go. You're supposed to let it expand. And that's my goal for each of you. As you come here week after week in Black Doctor, how do you expand your territory? How are you going after a level above where you already are? I'm not here for your bio or your resume. That's done. I'm here for who you have not yet become. And I believe that is what exactly what Jabez's prayer is saying it, right? Rose said, yes, working on my craft. I know that's right. So again, number one, oh, that you would bless me. Oh God, that you would choose me. Oh God, that you would allow me to serve more people. By the way, I want you to get that God chose you when you were born, that He put you here on assignment. So in other words, Jabez is saying, God, I'm ready. Let's do it. As my husband would say, let's do the damn thing, right? Second, enlarge my territory. Let me serve more people. Let me do more good for you. And then the third piece, which is so important, and I'll tell you where there's a third and a fourth piece. The third piece is, oh, that your hand would be with me. The thing I think is so interesting is so many of us forget to include God in what we're doing. There's a Bible verse. Shoot, hold on. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 3, 4, and 5. Let me see if I'm about to say the right one. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. I was right. Proverbs 3, 4, 5 and 6. It's 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. I'm looking at my Bible, by the way. And all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. So many of us rely on our own strength. And see, here's the thing I want you to get. This is why I say your bio, your resume is over, because that version of you is great. But if you're going to go off a level after a level above where you already are, you need new tools. You need more than who you already are. I believe God gives us a gift, a purpose, a desire, a need that we're the answer to that's bigger than where we are. Listen, He's not checking your resume. He's not checking your bio. He's not even checking your bank account. He's checking your faith. So what Jabez is saying here when he says, "Oh, that your hand would be with me," he's saying, "God, I need you. I can't do this without you." I think a perfect example of this is in the Bible. Now, the whole section, I'm not going to read the whole section, is Matthew. I'm looking at my notes. If you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my notes, right? The whole section is Matthew 14, 22 to 33. I'm only going to read one part, which is Matthew 14, 29 through 31. Okay. I have my little sticky note here to hold my place. Okay. So here's what it says. So he said, now this is Jesus talking to Peter, and Peter had asked Jesus. So Jesus was already out on the water, and Peter asked Jesus, "Ooh, can I come out there with you, Lord? Like, ooh, I want to work hard for you. Ooh, expand my territory. Oh, that you would bless me. Y'all get that? Come on, Lord. I want to come out there with you." So Jesus says, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" Now I want you to get this, going back to verse 30. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, when he saw it was hard, when he saw all this stuff happening around him, when he started looking at what's going on around him. So when you say, "Oh, that your hand will be with me," you got to understand. Again, do you go after your comfort or your conviction? Because your comfort and your conviction can never coexist. So when you want it to be comfortable, that means you're not willing to expand your territory. When you want it to be easy, yeah, you're not expanding. When you want it to be like it already was, that you already know what you're doing, that you don't have to learn anything new, you don't have to hire a team or a coach or someone to help you, yeah, you're trying to make it easy. And God does not function in easy. Not when you're growing. Just think about it. Now, I don't know about you, I'll use myself for an example. When I went to high school, now I have never been a girl that's good at math. Calculator is my friend, okay? So when I had calculators in high school, yeah, I was the bomb.com. Without it, yeah, no. Mm-mm. If I could do multiples of five all the time, I'm good. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, I got that on lock. That's about it. Right? So when I went from high school, excuse me, from elementary school to high school, and I had to start going through algebra, it was hard. But I couldn't get out of high school without it. Oh, and then I had to go from algebra to geometry, and then geometry to algebra 2. But I couldn't get to algebra 2 if I had to do the geometry and algebra 1. So you've got to understand that my focus was to graduate from high school. That was what I was keeping my eyes on. But I knew if I was going to graduate, I had to go through these things. Well, the same way, life, there's some things we go through. They might not be as easy as going through algebra in high school. But my question to you is, will you sink or will you swim? Will you be like Peter and focus on all the things that are boistering, all the things that are going crazy, all the drama and mishap that might be happening around you? Or will you focus on God? Will you focus on the author of all that you are and all that you're being called to do? Will you be like David and not focus on the fear that could keep you paralyzed, stuck where you are? Or will you focus on who God has created you to be? See, when David went out to fight Goliath, Saul, the king, said, "Let me give you my armor. Let me give you my armor so you can go out there and fight." And so when David put on the armor, again, he was 12, he was really little. And mind you, Saul was this big man of valor. He's like a warrior. So when he put the armor on, it was like way too big and was dragging him down. He's like, "I can't fight like this." I know I'm dramatic, right? "I can't fight like this with this big old armor on me." That's how I figured he probably felt with the armor on him. Y'all rolling with me? And so he said, "I can't fight like this. This isn't me. What I know really, really well is a slingshot. And I'm going to take the thing that I know and I'm going to crush this giant." And all I'm here as your sister friend on this last Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursday for 2022, right? 2021, y'all. I'm mixing up my years. My last one live with you this year is to ask you, are you willing to take what you know and expand your territory so that God can bless you and you can serve more people and that you focus only on Him? Now, there's a fourth step. There's a fourth step here. And so I'm going to invite you. Every Monday, I typically do something called Bankroll Breakfast Club in Clubhouse, right? And so I want you to know I'll do the fourth one this coming Monday. I'll dig into it deep. I'll do a great review, but you need all four steps in addition to listening to my podcast. And I'm inviting you to this because listen, God has something so special for each of us, but it's going to require us to do some things and work on some things and be some things and go through some things. The question is, do you want it? You know, to whom much is given, much is required. That's a Bible verse too. To whom much is given, much is required. So will you do the much? You know, there's another Bible verse here, Luke 10:2, that says, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. The harvest is great, but the laborers are few. In other words, oh, you'll get a great harvest, but most people want to work for it. That's why we see very few people that have all the blessings that are possible. So here's my last question for you. Can you stand to be blessed? Can you stand to be blessed? Will you do what it takes to go after you abundantly above all? Will you be the answer God has created you to be in this world? It's my humble honor and greatest joy and greatest calling to hold the space that you go and get it. That's why I come here every Thursday. So listen, after today, I'll be on hiatus until January 20th. But can I tell you a secret? For those of you that know, like you know, there's purpose in you, and you don't know how to start. There's purpose in you, and you don't know what to do because you have all these ideas. There's purpose in you, but you have a business and the business isn't working. It's because you're not clear on your purpose and you don't know where to start to get the clarity. So I'm working on something super special for you. I want all of you guys to make sure you're following me in social media so that you can be one of the first people to know. You follow me at least on Instagram. It's launching January 13th. You don't want to miss it. In Roberts Jones, because the first group of people that join me for this new special will get a special to join me. I'm not gonna say what it is yet. I'm so excited. My team is working on it. So again, that's January 13th. If that's you and you've been having a hard time, you don't know where to begin, you have all these ideas, or you have a business and it's not working. I'm gonna tell you 9 times out of 10, your business, well, 10 times out of 10, the reason your business isn't working is you don't have a niche clearly defined. And when your niche is not defined, it just means your purpose is not clear. All right. So with that said, that is our last conversation for 2021. I look forward to holding the space for the new version of you in 2022. Again, I want to encourage you to go listen to my podcast. If you didn't get to go listen to it yet, let me give you that again one more time, because my podcast gives even more overview of what I just shared. And then I'm going to walk through the fourth principle. I walk through the 3. Number 4, I'll walk through during my Clubhouse. Now, if you're not a member of Clubhouse, if you go to bankrollbreakfastclub.com, it also is an invitation. You no longer have to have an iPhone or an iDevice, right? You can do it from any smartphone. So if you go to bankrollbreakfastclub.com, it will also invite you into Clubhouse, okay? So I'll be there 8:30 a.m. EST, and there is no replay, y'all. So you got to join me live, all right? So with that said, again, it's my honor and privilege every week to hold the space for you. There will be replays happening between now and January 20th. So don't miss them. Take some time and catch up on some of our favorite episodes. And these are the episodes that you all have watched the most and commented the most. And so what we do is replay those episodes. And in the meantime, here's my desire for you. As you celebrate Christmas and really celebrate the birth of Christ, I want you to think about, why did Christ come here in the first place? He came that we have life and have it more abundantly. If you're going to have the abundant life that is yours for the taking, it comes with you doing the work. It comes with you going after it. It comes with you expanding your territory to go after the next best version of you. So if that's you, I look forward to holding that space for you in 2022. I look forward to pouring more into you. I want to thank you for allowing me in your lives. 2021 was our first season. We started back in February, and I look forward to starting season 2 with you in January. So with that, y'all, have a phenomenal holiday season. Do the work to expand and grow so that you can serve all those that need you. Why? Because God is looking for you. For many of you, you probably haven't realized yet that there's a warrant out for your arrest. There's a picture with your name on it in heaven looking for you. The angels are looking for you because you got work to do. And I look forward to helping you carve that path so that when you meet God face to face, he'll say to you, job well done, daughter. Job well done, son. I'm proud of all you are. You did exactly why I put you on this earth. So let's go and be it and do it. All right. So with that said, I'll see y'all in 2022. Have a phenomenal holiday season. Bye, y'all.